as it existed long before the dawn of modern engines, concrete and neon light. Close your eyes and allow the chatter of your daily life to softly fade into the background. Imagine a quiet, moonlit night somewhere along the rugged coasts of ancient Greece. You're standing on a stone path polished smooth by thousands of years of rain and wind. The air around you is cool, crisp, and filled with the scent of wild thyme, damp pine, and crushed limestone. High above, framed against an immense sky sprinkled with millions of quiet silver stars, rises the great mass of Mount Olympus. In the ancient world, mortals looked up at this vast, snow-dusted giant with a mixture of reverence, wonder, and subtle fear. To them, Olympus was not merely a mountain of rock and ice. It was the absolute centre of the cosmos, the threshold where the earth brushed against the infinite blue of the heavens, and the residence of the 12 immortal gods who shaped every thunderclap, every ocean swell, every harvest, and every human heart. As you begin your journey tonight, you're not merely a distant observer looking back through the foggy glass of history. You are an honoured guest. You're walking along the winding trails of antiquity, stepping into a realm suspended outside of ordinary time. Feel the cool evening breeze against your skin as you take your very first steps up the winding path. The silence here is profound and deep, broken only by the rhythmic, gentle crunch of gravel under your feet and the distant, soothing whisper of wind rustling through ancient pine needles. The path upward is slow, steady and peaceful. Every breath you take draws in pure, sweet mountain air that seems to clear your mind, washing away every drop of stress and fatigue from your day. As you walk, the earth slowly yields to the sky. Below you, the distant valleys fade into soft shadows of slate blue and purple, sprinkled with the faint glowing embers of distant village fires. But your eyes are drawn upward, toward the summit, where a warm, golden light hums softly behind a veil of silver clouds. This is the doorway to the divine realm. To understand the gods you're about to meet, you must first understand the ancient world that birthed them. The Greeks saw their gods not as abstract concepts distant from daily life, but as living, breathing forces present in every breath of wind, every ripple of water, and every flame in the hearth. The gods were woven into the very fabric of nature and human emotion. As you climb higher, the atmosphere shifts. The air becomes noticeably warmer, carrying the subtle, intoxicating perfume of burning cedarwood, sweet honey, fresh bay leaves, and crushed pomegranates. The heavy fog that blankets the lower slopes begins to part before you, swirling away like silk curtains being gently pulled aside by unseen hands. Suddenly, the narrow stone path opens up into a vast, breathtaking plateau, bathed in a soft, eternal dusk. Before you stretches the holy city of the immortals. There are no crumbling ruins here, no moss-covered broken pillars like those left in our modern world. Everything stands in its pristine, original glory. Magnificent palaces crafted from brilliant white marble rise toward the sky, their surfaces gleaming with delicate veins of gold and lapis lazuli. Soaring colonnades reach toward a canopy of twilight, and warm, golden torchlight flickers gently against polished bronze doors. You step onto the smooth, polished floor of the main courtyard. The stone beneath your feet is warmed from within by an eternal, gentle heat. Water cascades down tiered marble fountains, creating a rhythmic, meditative splash that echoes softly through the grand corridors. There is an unmistakable sense of tranquility here, a stillness so deep that time itself seems to stop, allowing you to settle into a deep, effortless state of calm. Look ahead. At the far end of the wide marble plaza stands an immense structure, whose entrance is flanked by pillars so wide 3 men could not encircle them with outstretched arms. This is the Great Hall of the Council. Soft, inviting light spills from its towering archways, casting long golden reflections across the courtyard floor. As you walk toward the hall, your footsteps sound soft and rhythmic against the stone. You feel completely safe, protected, and welcome in this sacred space. The realm of the gods is open to you tonight, offering its timeless stories, its rich legends, and its quiet, majestic beauty. You cross the threshold into the great hall. High above, the ceiling opens up into a living map of the night sky, where constellations drift in real time, glowing with a gentle starlit radiance. In the centre of this magnificent space, arranged in an immense semicircle around a glowing hearth, sit the 12 thrones of Olympus. Each throne is a masterwork of divine craftsmanship, tailored to the essence of the god who occupies it. And there, resting upon his great throne of dark oak and carved white ivory, sits the father of gods and men. Look closely at the figure who sits at the centre of the divine hall. This is Zeus, the sovereign lord of the sky, the gatherer of clouds and the keeper of order throughout the cosmos. His throne is carved from dark, polished oak, harvested from the sacred groves of Dodona, trimmed with bands of gleaming silver and white ivory. Zeus sits not with anger or coldness, but with a quiet, immense authority that breathes through the very room. He appears as a majestic man in the prime of his timeless strength, his broad shoulders draped in a rich, deep purple chiton trimmed with golden thread. His long dark hair and full beard cascade like storm clouds, shimmering with subtle, faint flickers of golden light, the lingering energy of primordial lightning. As you stand quietly before him, feel the atmosphere in the room change. It does not feel chaotic or frightening. Rather, it carries the deep, reassuring weight of a quiet summer storm rolling over distant hills. The air tastes faintly of ozone and rain, fresh and clean. At Zeus's right hand rests a long, polished sceptre of polished bronze, crowned with a sculpture of an eagle in mid-flight. Resting quietly at the base of his throne is a magnificent golden eagle itself, its keen, amber eyes watching you with peaceful intelligence before it gently tucks its head beneath its wing and falls into a quiet rest. To the ancient Greeks, Zeus was far more than a wielder of lightning bolts. He was the ultimate guardian of Xenia, the sacred law of hospitality. In the ancient world, where travelling meant braving dangerous wilderness and unknown lands, the law of Xenia dictated that any stranger arriving at your doorstep must be welcomed, fed, and sheltered, before even being asked their name. Zeus was the protector of the wanderer, the homeless, and the traveller. Knowing this, you feel a deep, comforting sense of belonging. In his hall, you are under his personal protection. No harm can reach you here. Consider the long journey Zeus took to reach this quiet, golden throne. Ancient Greek myth tells us that before the gods ruled, the universe was governed by the Titans, vast ancient beings led by Kronos, the god of time and destruction. Kronos, fearing a prophecy that one of his children would eventually overthrow him, consumed each of his children as soon as they were born. When Zeus was born, his mother Rhea hid the infant away in a deep sacred cave hidden on the island of Crete, high upon Mount Ida. There, bathed in the soft shadows of the earth, the young god was raised in secret, nurtured by the sweet milk of the divine goat Amalthea and guarded by the Curetes, warriors who clashed their shields together whenever the child cried so that Kronos would not hear. As Zeus grew into his power, he returned to face his father, freeing his swallowed siblings, Hera, Poseidon, Demeter, Hestia, and Hades. Together they waged a 10-year war known as the Titanomachy, a conflict that shook the foundations of the mountains and turned the skies into fire. It was during this epic struggle that the Cyclopes, the ancient master metalworkers, forged for Zeus his signature weapon, the thunderbolt. Yet, despite his unmatched power, Zeus's ultimate role on Olympus was to maintain Dike, balance, and justice. He held the golden scales of destiny, weighing the fates of nations and individuals alike. As you look up at him now, he slowly turns his gaze toward you. His eyes are not harsh, they're deep and clear, the colour of a stormy sky just as the rain ceases and the sun begins to break through the clouds. He gives you a slow, gentle nod of welcome, acknowledging your journey up the mountain. Beside his throne, sitting upon a small marble table, rests a chalice made of clear crystal, filled with sweet nectar, the drink of the gods that smells faintly of crushed roses and honeyed wine. Zeus extends a hand, gesturing for you to rest upon a plush, comfortable couch nearby, covered in soft, dark blue velvet. As you settle onto the soft velvet, you feel your body sinking deeper into comfort. Your eyelids feel heavy, lulled by the quiet, low hum of the hall and the slow, steady rhythm of the king's breath. You take a long, deep breath in, absorbing the quiet majesty of this sacred space, and slowly exhale, releasing any remaining tension in your shoulders and mind. Sitting immediately to the right of Zeus, upon a throne of hand-hammered gold set with rare glowing emeralds, sits Hera, the queen of Olympus and the divine protector of marriage, family, and the sacred bond of commitment. Look at her peaceful, radiant figure. She wears a long, flowing peplos of soft, cream-coloured silk that drapes gracefully over her frame, held at the shoulder by a brooch carved from iridescent mother-of-pearl. Upon her head rests a delicate high crown, Apollo's, symbolising her supreme status as Queen of the Heavens. Her dark, glossy hair falls in soft waves over her shoulders, and her face radiates a regal, timeless grace. In many modern retellings of Greek mythology, Hera is often portrayed purely through the lens of her anger regarding the infidelities of Zeus. But to the ancient Greeks who worshipped her at the grand temple of Samos, or the great Heraion of Argos, she was venerated as a powerful, protective matriarch, the guardian of life's most sacred transitions, the protector of women, and the stabilising force that held society and families together. Beside her throne rests her grandest symbol, the peacock. Its brilliant blue and green feathers catch the warm torchlight of the hall, displaying patterns that resemble hundreds of gentle, watching eyes. According to ancient legend, these markings were placed upon the peacock's feathers by Hera herself in honour of Argus, her 100-eyed guardian, whose watchful nature was preserved forever in the beauty of the bird's plumage. Hera looks toward you with eyes that are remarkably wide, soft and calm, traits so striking that the ancient poet Homer continually referred to her as ox-eyed Hera, a term meant as the highest compliment to her deep, serene beauty. When you look into her presence, you do not feel judgment or coldness. You feel the deep, warm comfort of a motherly presence watching over a safe household. She represents the ideal of order, fidelity, and the quiet strength required to build enduring, lasting structures in life. In her right hand, Hera holds a golden pomegranate, a symbol of life, regeneration, and the mysterious, fertile continuity of nature. In her left hand, she holds a delicate sceptre topped with a cuckoo, representing the quiet, subtle spring winds that bring new life and blooming flowers to the world after a long, silent winter. Listen closely to the subtle sound around her throne. It is like the soft, rhythmic rustling of silk ribbons in a warm summer breeze, or the quiet chirping of early morning birds in a secluded, sunlit garden. The air surrounding her smells softly of sweet lotus blossoms, jasmine, and fresh linen dried in the warm afternoon sun. Hera softly adjusts her veil, leaning back into the soft cushions of her golden throne. She casts a protective, calm gaze over the great hall, ensuring that peace and absolute tranquility reign throughout the divine realm. As her eyes briefly meet yours, she offers a quiet, gentle smile, a silent blessing of peace, stability, and restful comfort for your spirit tonight. You feel a profound sense of emotional security washing over you. Under the combined shelter of Zeus and Hera, the sovereign rulers of sky and home, your mind feels light, relaxed, and utterly safe. The world outside Mount Olympus fades away into a distant, unimportant murmur, leaving you alone in this sanctuary of light, history, and gentle peace. To the left of Zeus sits a figure whose presence brings with it the calming rhythmic melody of the restless sea. This is Poseidon, the Earthshaker, the ruler of the vast oceans, the lord of deep rivers, and the creator of wild, majestic horses. His throne is crafted from a vast piece of dark, deep-sea coral, polished until it gleams like dark red marble, inlaid with shimmering sea pearls, mother of pearl, and precious silver that resembles foam on the crest of a wave. Poseidon himself sits with a relaxed, powerful grace. His skin is a rich, warm bronze from eternal exposure to sun and sea spray, and his thick beard and hair flow like dark, cascading ocean currents, sprinkled with tiny flecks of sea salt and brilliant green seaweed. He wears a simple robe of deep sea green, bound at the waist with a cord of silver kelp. Resting leaning against his arm is his iconic three-pronged trident, forged by the Cyclopes from dark, indestructible bronze. While Poseidon was known in ancient seafaring myths for his roaring tempests and powerful ocean surges, here in the Great Hall, his energy is as calm and gentle as a quiet tide softly lapping against a warm, sandy beach under a full moon. Listen to the ambient sound that follows him. If you focus gently, you can hear the faint rhythmic sound of ocean waves rolling slowly onto a shore. In and out, in and out. The sound matches the rhythm of your own breathing, creating a natural, deeply soothing cadence that lulls your mind deeper into relaxation. To the ancient Greeks, Poseidon was one of the most vital deities in their world. Greece was a land of islands, rugged coasts, and vast sea routes. Every sailor, merchant, and explorer who set sail across the wine-dark Aegean Sea offered prayers, olive oil, and libations to Poseidon, asking for calm waters, favourable winds, and a safe return to their homes. Poseidon was also revered as the creator of horses. Ancient tales describe how Poseidon, in his desire to create something of unmatched grace and speed for humanity, struck his trident against a coastal rock, causing a crystal-clear spring to gush forth, out of which leaped the very first horse, its mane flowing like sea foam. As you gaze at Poseidon, he turns his face toward you. His eyes are the rich, changing colour of the Mediterranean Sea, a deep, tranquil blend of turquoise, sapphire, and emerald. He looks at you with a quiet, knowing warmness, like a sea captain who has navigated every storm and found his way to a safe, quiet harbour. The scent that surrounds his throne is remarkably refreshing. The crisp, clean scent of ocean air, salt spray, crushed dried kelp, and sun-warmed driftwood. It opens your lungs, allowing you to draw in long, deep, satisfying breaths that release all remaining tension from your body. Poseidon lifts his right hand slightly, and a small sphere of shimmering, crystal-clear water rises gently from a stone basin near his feet. It hovers quietly in the air, slowly rotating like a tiny blue planet, illuminated by the golden torchlight of the hall, before softly splashing back into the basin with a quiet, musical clink. He rests his thick arm on the coral armrest of his throne and relaxes his posture, leaning back into the shadowy comfort of his seat. The rhythmic, wave-like sound of his breathing continues, a steady, hypnotic pulse that guides your mind deeper into a calm, dreamlike tranquility. Sitting next to Poseidon, on a simple yet breathtaking throne crafted from woven, petrified olive wood and fragrant cedar, sits Demeter, the goddess of the harvest, agriculture, fertility, and the sacred cycle of the seasons. Demeter's throne is adorned with delicate golden carvings of wheat stalks, barley, and blooming poppies. She sits with an aura of immense warmth, patience, and nurturing grace. Her clothing is the colour of rich sun-ripened wheat, draped loosely over her shoulders, and her long golden brown hair falls in soft braids, interwoven with fresh stalks of grain and delicate scarlet poppies. To the people of ancient Greece, Demeter was the life-giver. Before she taught humanity the art of agriculture, humans wandered the earth as gatherers, searching endlessly for food. It was Demeter who shared the knowledge of planting seeds, tending the soil and harvesting grain, allowing civilization to form, settle and flourish. The scent surrounding Demeter's throne is deeply grounding and comforting. It carries the rich aroma of warm, freshly baked bread, sun-baked earth after a gentle summer rain, dried lavender and sweet meadow grasses. It is a scent that immediately evokes feelings of safety, home and absolute abundance. The most famous and moving legend associated with Demeter is the story of her beloved daughter Persephone. When Persephone was carried away to the underworld by Hades, Demeter's grief was so profound that she withdrew her blessings from the earth. The leaves withered, the crops ceased to grow, and a long silent winter fell across the world. Seeing the suffering of humanity, Zeus intervened, arranging for Persephone to return to her mother for part of the year. When Persephone returned each spring, Demeter's joy transformed the earth. Flowers bloomed overnight, trees bore fruit, and the fields burst into lush, golden life. This myth became the framework through which ancient people understood the natural rhythm of autumn, winter, spring, and summer. Demeter looks toward you with eyes the soft, warm colour of rich loam. Her expression is filled with profound empathy and gentle understanding. She understands the tiredness that comes from long labour, the effort required to tend to one's life, and the deep necessity for rest. She reaches down to a woven basket resting beside her chair, filled with golden ears of wheat and ripe, sweet figs. She gently takes a wheat stalk, rolling it between her soft fingers. The subtle, dry sound of the grain husks rustling together is soft and satisfying, like dry leaves falling quietly on an autumn trail. Demeter gives you a slow, soothing nod, encouraging you to let go of any worries about the future or regrets about the past. She reminds you, through her presence, that everything in nature has its season, a time to strive, a time to grow, and crucially, a time to rest quietly and let the soil of your mind lie fallow and peaceful. As you listen to her quiet breathing, you feel a deep physical sense of relaxation settling into your muscles. Your heavy limbs feel completely supported by the velvet couch, and your mind feels grounded, warm, and entirely at rest. Directly across from Demeter, sitting upon a sleek, noble throne of flawless white marble and brushed dark bronze, sits Athena, the goddess of wisdom, strategic war, craft, and divine intellect. Athena's presence is striking, quiet, and deeply reassuring. Unlike the chaotic, destructive nature of wild conflict, Athena represents strategic thought, calm reason, justice, and the protective defense of the home and city. She sits erect yet entirely relaxed, her broad shoulders conveying immense strength and composure. Her throne is minimalist and elegant, carved with intricate scenes of olive branches, loom shuttles, and geometric patterns. Resting against the side of her throne is her great round shield, the aegis, polished to a mirror finish, bearing the quiet, stylized image of the Gorgon's head. Her famous bronze helmet, decorated with a high crest of horsehair, rests quietly on a small marble table beside her, allowing her clear, luminous face to be fully seen. Athena's hair is dark and bound in an elegant, practical knot at the back of her head. She wears a crisp white tunic underneath a draped cloak of pale grey, the colour of a morning mist hovering over a quiet landscape. Sitting quietly on the high back of her marble throne is a small, soft-feathered little owl, the Athene noctua, its large golden eyes blinking slowly in the warm light of the hall. To the ancient Greeks, Athena was perhaps the most revered god of all, so much so that the grandest city of the ancient world, Athens, took her name and dedicated its greatest architectural masterpiece, the Parthenon, to her honour. According to myth, Athena competed with Poseidon to become the patron deity of the city. While Poseidon offered a saltwater spring, Athena pressed her spear into the rocky soil of the Acropolis, giving humanity the very first cultivated olive tree. The citizens chose Athena's gift, for the olive tree provided food, oil for lamps, wood for warmth, and medicine for healing, a true symbol of peace and enduring wisdom. As you look into Athena's eyes, you're struck by their colour, a clear, piercing grey, like light filtering through autumn clouds. Her gaze holds no tension, anger, or impatience. Instead, it offers pure, clear clarity. Looking into her eyes feels like solving a complex puzzle, or finding a simple, perfect answer to a problem that has weighed on your mind for months. The scent around Athena is clean, crisp, and focusing. Crushed olive leaves, polished cedar wood, clear lamp oil, and clean parchment. She turns her head slowly toward you, her movements deliberate, smooth, and graceful. The little owl on her chair softly rustles its feathers, making a tiny, quiet hoot that disappears into the peaceful silence of the room. Athena reaches out a slender, strong hand and picks up a small piece of unspun white wool from an ivory loom basket near her chair. She slowly and rhythmically spins it between her fingers, drawing out a fine, perfectly smooth thread. The rhythmic, repetitive motion of her hands is hypnotically soothing to watch. Through this simple act, Athena silently reminds you that clarity does not come from force or anxiety, but from quiet, patient focus. She invites you to untangle the messy threads of your thoughts, to set aside all lingering worries, and to let your mind settle into a clear, peaceful, and balanced state. Next to Athena sits a figure who seems to emanate a soft golden warmth from within his very skin. This is Apollo, the god of the sun, light, music, poetry, prophecy, and the quiet art of healing. Apollo's throne is crafted from radiant polished yellow gold and brilliant white electrum, carved in the delicate shape of a golden lyre. Apollo himself appears as a radiant, ageless young man with noble features and long, shimmering golden brown hair that curls softly around his shoulders, bound by a simple wreath of fresh bay laurel leaves. He wears a light, graceful cloak of warm saffron and gold that catches every gleam of torchlight in the room. Resting comfortably in his lap is his most famous possession, an exquisite lyre made from the shell of a tortoise shell, with arms of polished horn and strings spun from silver wire. In the ancient world, Apollo was celebrated as the ultimate bringer of light and order. Every morning, according to popular lore, he drove his radiant chariot across the vast vault of the sky, bringing warmth, light, and life to the sleeping world below. But Apollo was equally cherished as the lord of the Delphic oracle, where mortals travelled from across the known world to seek his divine guidance, carved above the temple doors with the famous immortal maxims, "Know thyself, and nothing in excess." The energy surrounding Apollo is deeply soothing and harmonizing. It carries the warm scent of sun-baked bay leaves, sweet pine resin, wild mountain honey, and summer air. As you watch him, Apollo lightly brushes his fingers across the silver strings of his lyre. A single, crystalline note rings out through the great hall, soft, pure, and infinitely deep. The sound vibrates gently through the air, creating a soft wave of acoustic harmony that instantly soothes your central nervous system. He plays another note, then another, weaving a slow, gentle, ambient melody that has no urgent tempo or complex rhythm. It is a lullaby crafted from pure light and sound, designed to align the beating of your heart with the peaceful rhythm of the universe. Ancient Greek medicine was deeply tied to Apollo and his son, Asclepius. The Greeks believed that true healing required not just medicine for the physical body, but harmony for the spirit, and nothing restored spiritual harmony more effectively than peaceful music and light. Apollo turns his luminous, dark, golden eyes toward you. His smile is warm, encouraging, and filled with quiet kindness. He does not speak, for his music says everything that needs to be said. The melody he plays is soft and delicate, falling around you like warm, golden sunlight filtering through the leafy canopy of a peaceful forest on a quiet afternoon. As you listen to the delicate, fading notes of his silver lyre, you feel your breath becoming deeper, slower, and more effortless. Your mind slides gracefully away from conscious thought, drifting along the golden waves of sound into a quiet, peaceful space where rest is absolute. Sitting beside her twin brother Apollo is Artemis, the mistress of the wilderness, the protector of young maidens, the goddess of the hunt, and the lady of the silver moon. While Apollo represents the radiant golden light of the midday sun, Artemis embodies the cool, soothing, silver tranquility of the nighttime forest. Her throne is crafted from dark, petrified wood from the deepest primeval forests, inlaid with subtle, glowing bands of real silver that resemble light from a crescent moon reflecting on a dark pool of water. Artemis sits with a quiet, watchful grace. She wears a short, practical chiton of deep forest green, suited for running through dense woods, and soft leather sandals bound tightly around her ankles. Her long dark hair is bound loosely up, with a few soft wisps framing her peaceful, sun-freckled face. Resting across her back is a sleek quiver filled with silver arrows, and leaning against her throne is a delicate, elegant bow forged from solid silver. Lying quietly at her feet, resting its long, slender head upon her knee, is a magnificent silver-furred hunting hound. Artemis lightly strokes the dog's soft ears with her long, gentle fingers, her touch rhythmic and relaxing. To the ancient Greeks, Artemis was the guardian of the untamed world. The vast, pristine forests, the high mountain peaks, the hidden glades, and the untouched streams where human footsteps rarely fell. She was the protector of all wild animals, ensuring that humans hunted only what was necessary and treated nature with profound respect. She was also the goddess who watched over the nighttime hours. As the moon rose, Artemis walked the quiet paths of the forest, bringing a sense of cool, protective peace to the earth while it slept. The atmosphere surrounding Artemis is incredibly cooling, crisp, and fresh. The air smells intensely of pine needles, wet moss, night-blooming jasmine, damp earth, and crisp mountain streams. It is a scent that brings instant relief to a tired, overheated mind. Artemis looks at you with eyes the deep, mysterious colour of a clear forest pool reflecting the night sky. Her gaze is cool, quiet, and completely free of expectation. In her presence, you feel no pressure to act, speak, or perform. She represents the absolute freedom of the wild, a place where you can simply be, wild and free, untethered from the demands of daily life. She slowly raises her left hand, pointing gently toward the great opening in the hall ceiling. You look up and see a slender, brilliant silver crescent moon hanging high in the deep blue night sky. A soft, gentle beam of cool, silver moonlight cascades down through the opening, landing softly across your shoulders like a light, weightless blanket. The cool moonlight seems to wash away any remaining mental noise, leaving your mind as calm, still, and reflective as a quiet lake on a windless night. You rest your head back, drawing in a long, cool breath of forest air, sinking further into the deep, welcoming shadows of the hall. Sitting next to Artemis, On a throne that is an astonishing masterpiece of mechanical engineering and divine craftsmanship, sits Hephaestus, the god of fire, metallurgy, blacksmithing, sculpture, and craftsmanship. Unlike the sleek, highly polished marble thrones around him, the throne of Hephaestus is crafted from dark, indestructible bronze, steel, and gold, filled with delicate gears, clockwork mechanisms, and subtle pistons that hum with a quiet, soothing warmth. Small, intricate golden automaton birds sit perched on the arms of his throne, their tiny metal wings rustling softly in a mesmerizing, steady rhythm. Hephaestus himself is a powerful, thick-set figure with broad, heavily muscled shoulders and strong, calloused hands that have shaped the greatest treasures of the cosmos. His face is weathered and dark with smudges of charcoal and soot, but his eyes glow with an immense, warm and deeply gentle intelligence. He wears a heavy leather apron over a simple tunic of dark grey wool, tucked up to give his arms freedom. The story of Hephaestus is one of the most moving in all of mythology. Born with a limp, he was rejected by his mother Hera and cast down from Olympus to the ocean below. There, he was rescued by the sea nymphs Thetis and Eurynome, who cared for him in a hidden underwater cave. Instead of succumbing to bitterness, Hephaestus discovered his extraordinary talent for creation. Working in his subterranean forge, he learned to transform crude metal into objects of breathtaking beauty and utility. Recognizing his unmatched genius, Zeus restored Hephaestus to his rightful place on Olympus, naming him the master architect and artisan of the gods. It was Hephaestus who built the indestructible marble palaces of Olympus, forged the thunderbolts of Zeus, crafted the silver bow of Artemis, and wrought the magnificent legendary shield of Achilles. The energy around Hephaestus is deeply comforting, reminiscent of sitting safely inside a warm, cosy cabin beside a crackling stone hearth while a cold rain falls outside. The air smells of warm iron, cedarwood fire, sweet resin, and clean soot. Hephaestus holds a small, perfectly smooth sphere of polished brass in his thick palms. He turns it slowly over and over, his strong fingers moving with effortless, hypnotic precision. The quiet, rhythmic click-clack of the metal sphere moving between his fingers sounds like the steady ticking of a classic grandfather clock, creating a steady, soothing rhythm that anchors your focus. He looks up at you through warm hazel eyes that radiate deep patience, humility, and kindness. Hephaestus knows what it means to feel tired, broken, or out of place, and his presence offers an unconditional acceptance. He reminds you that out of dark, rough, and unformed raw materials, beautiful things are patiently crafted over time. He sets the golden sphere down on a small anvil beside his seat. A gentle, soft warmth radiates from his forge fire, spreading across the floor and warming your feet and legs with a cozy, comforting heat that melts away every remaining knot of tension in your body. Sitting upon a throne carved from a single shimmering piece of iridescent white sea pearl and pale pink coral sits Aphrodite, the goddess of love, passion, beauty, harmony, and emotional peace. Aphrodite's throne seems to glow with its own soft ethereal light, shifting through subtle shades of pale rose, cream, and soft gold as the light touches it. She sits with an effortless, breathtaking grace, her posture completely relaxed and inviting. Her gown is woven from the finest silk, the soft colour of sea foam touching a sandy shore at dawn, flowing around her like gentle water. Her long, golden, wavy hair falls over her shoulders in rich, shining tendrils, fragrant with the scent of wild roses and blooming myrtle. Upon her wrists rest simple bands of polished gold, and around her waist she wears her famous golden girdle, the cestus, which holds the divine power to bring immediate peace, love, and reconciliation to any heart that feels broken or stormy. To the ancient Greeks, Aphrodite was born from the gentle sea foam, Aphros, off the coast of the island of Cyprus. Ancient poems describe how, as she stepped ashore, wildflowers sprang into full bloom beneath her feet, and the gentle west wind, Zephyrus, wrapped her in warm golden air. While she was often associated with romantic passion, her deepest power lay in bringing harmony out of conflict, smoothing rough emotions and filling human souls with a quiet sense of self-love and deep inner peace. The atmosphere surrounding Aphrodite is intoxicatingly soft and luxurious. The air is filled with the exquisite perfume of fresh red roses, sweet jasmine, flowering myrtle, and warm vanilla. It is a heavy, sweet, and deeply comforting scent that invites you to breathe slowly and deeply, letting all emotional weight slide away. As you look at Aphrodite, she turns her soft, radiant face toward you. Her eyes are the colour of a warm, sea-lit dawn, filled with absolute unconditional warmth and acceptance. Looking into her presence feels like being wrapped in a thick, soft cashmere blanket on a cold night. She raises a slender, graceful hand, and a single, perfect rose petal floats gently down through the warm air, landing softly on the velvet couch beside you. Aphrodite gives you a smile that is so full of genuine warmth and soothing calm that any lingering feelings of anxiety, self-doubt, or insecurity simply evaporate into the peaceful air of the hall. She reminds you, without words, that you are worthy of rest, worthy of peace, and fully deserving of quiet comfort. Listen to the ambient quiet around her throne. It sounds like the soft, warm murmur of a gentle spring wind moving through a blooming rose garden. You feel a deep, comforting sensation of emotional relief spreading through your chest, allowing your heart to beat at a slow, completely natural and relaxed pace. Sitting on a light, elegant throne of polished black obsidian, inlaid with swirling lines of silver and soft mercury, sits Hermes, the messenger of the gods, the guide of souls, the lord of borders, and the gentle patron of travellers. Hermes sits not with stillness, but with a light, poised grace, like a bird perched briefly on a branch before taking flight again. He appears as a handsome, quick-witted young man with bright, mischievous yet incredibly gentle eyes. He wears a short, light mantle of dark violet, and on his feet are his famous winged sandals, the Talaria, crafted from fine golden leather, their delicate wings fluttering softly with a subtle rhythmic whisper. In his right hand, Hermes holds his iconic staff, the caduceus. It is a dark wooden rod wrapped with two sleeping golden serpents facing each other, topped with a pair of small open wings. In ancient myth, the caduceus possessed a remarkable power. With a single gentle touch of this wand, Hermes could instantly cast a deep, peaceful sleep over any mortal, or wake those who were trapped in troubled nightmares, bringing them gentle, clear dreams. To the ancient Greeks, Hermes was one of the most beloved and approachable of all gods. He was the psychopomp, the gentle guide who walked alongside human souls, guiding them safely across the thresholds between worlds, between waking and sleeping, ensuring they never lost their way in the dark. He was the guardian of the road, the friend of the weary wanderer, and the god who brought comforting messages from the heavens into the minds of sleeping mortals. The scent surrounding Hermes is crisp, intriguing, and deeply calming. Sweet clover, night-blooming orchids, frankincense, and fresh mountain wind. Hermes turns his bright, kindly gaze toward you. He offers a quick, friendly, and deeply warm smile, the look of a trusted old friend who has travelled many long miles to make sure you reached your destination safely. He slowly lifts the caduceus. The two golden serpents carved onto the staff glow with a soft, pulsing silver light. Hermes gently sways the staff in a slow, wide, figure-8 motion through the warm air in front of you. As the staff moves, it leaves a trail of soft, glowing silver dust that floats lazily through the air toward your couch. The silver mist settles over you like a feather-light blanket of quiet rest. Hermes leans forward, resting his chin on his hand, his voice silent but his message crystal clear. Your long journey for today is finished. You have crossed the threshold. You're safe, you're protected, and the road ahead leads directly into deep, peaceful and unbroken sleep. As you watch the subtle, rhythmic fluttering of the small wings on his golden sandals, your eyelids become extraordinarily heavy. The room around you begins to soften into warm, glowing shades of amber, gold, and deep twilight blue. Next to Hermes, sitting upon a throne crafted from twisted, petrified grapevine wood and dark, green-veined marble, sits Dionysus, the god of the vine, wine, festivity, emotional release, and quiet, restorative ecstasy. Dionysus sits reclining lazily on his throne, draped in soft, dark purple velvet trimmed with gold. He wears a crown of glossy green ivy leaves and plump, dark purple grapes upon his dark, curly hair, which falls in loose, beautiful ringlets around his neck. Resting against his shoulder is his sacred staff, the thyrsus, a giant fennel stalk topped with a pine cone and wrapped with ivy vines. In popular mythology, Dionysus is often remembered purely as the god of wild, chaotic celebrations, but to the ancient Greeks, his deeper, more sacred role was as the liberator, Eleutherios. He was the god who freed the human mind from the heavy chains of worry, societal pressure, daily burdens and rigid overthinking. He represented the profound, healing power of letting go, allowing the mind to step away from daily labour and sink into complete emotional rest and joyful ease. The atmosphere surrounding Dionysus is rich, deep, and incredibly relaxing. The air carries the delicious aroma of crushed dark grapes, aging oak barrels, sweet black fig, wild ivy, and warm honeyed wine. It is a scent that encourages you to let go of your last remaining thoughts, inviting your whole body to sink deep into complete physical stillness. At Dionysus's feet lies a magnificent panther, its sleek, dark fur shimmering gently under the golden torchlight. The great cat purrs quietly, a deep, rhythmic, low vibration that resonates softly through the floor, acting as a natural, calming physical massage for your senses. Dionysus turns his deep, dark, wine-coloured eyes toward you. His face carries an expression of absolute ease, relaxation, and warmth. He raises a golden goblet carved with images of dancing nymphs, tilting it gently toward you in a silent, warm toast to your peaceful rest tonight. He takes a deep, slow breath and lets out a long, relaxed sigh, a sigh that seems to express the total release of every worry, every task, and every thought that has weighed on your mind today. Listening to his easy, relaxed breath, your own body responds automatically. Your shoulders drop completely away from your ears. Your hands uncurl, resting limp and peaceful against the plush velvet of the couch. Your jaw relaxes and the muscles around your eyes smooth out completely. As you lie upon your comfortable couch, wrapped in the warm, secure atmosphere of the great hall, you look toward the very centre of the council circle. There, in the centre of the 12 grand thrones, burns the eternal flame of the sacred hearth, the Hestia. Standing quietly beside the glowing golden embers is Hestia herself, the quietest, most peaceful, and most ancient of the Olympian gods. Though she voluntarily gave up her formal throne to Dionysus to prevent conflict among the gods, her presence remains the very heart and core of Mount Olympus. She wears a simple, plain veil of warm woven wool over her head, her face glowing with a soft, timeless, and completely peaceful light. Hestia holds a long wooden poker, gently tending the glowing cedar coals of the central hearth. Every time she gently turns an ember, a small cluster of tiny, sparkling golden sparks floats softly up into the night sky, drifting toward the open roof and joining the glowing stars above. The sound of the hearth is hypnotically peaceful, a soft, slow, crack burn of seasoned cedar wood, accompanied by the gentle, warm hum of radiant heat filling the room. Around the hearth, the 12 gods sit in complete serene unity. Zeus rests his heavy head back against his oak throne, his eyes closed in calm contemplation. Hera relaxes into her emerald seat, her peacock sleeping peacefully at her feet. Poseidon's breathing matches the distant ocean tide. Demeter rests her hands upon her golden grain. Athena sets down her shield, her little owl tucked under its wing. Apollo's silver lyre rests silent and warm on his lap. Artemis sleeps under the silver glow of her moon. Hephaestus's forge glows with a quiet, sleepy warmth. Aphrodite reclined peacefully amid her rose petals. Hermes rests his staff, his wing sandals still and quiet. Dionysus lies back against his velvet cushions, his panther purring gently beside him, and Hestia stands guard over the quiet flame, ensuring that warmth, safety, and absolute peace fill every corner of this sanctuary. You are completely safe here. You are surrounded by the immortal guardians of history, wisdom, nature, and rest. Every story has been told. Every journey for today is complete. There is nothing left for you to do, nowhere else you need to go, and nothing you need to think about. The warm golden light from the hearth slowly grows softer, dimming down into a gentle, sleepy amber glow. The magnificent marble pillars of Olympus fade into soft, protective shadows. The air is warm, sweet, and quiet. Allow yourself to sink completely into the soft cushions beneath you. Feel the weight of your body pressing gently, effortlessly into complete rest. As the soft rhythm of the mountain air washes over you, you drift slowly, peacefully, and effortlessly into a deep, restorative, and unbroken sleep. The air inside the great hall grows softer still, wrapping around you like a heavy silk quilt. The gentle hum of the sacred fire cradles the room in a warm amber light, and the silence here feels vast, ancient, and deeply comforting. As you rest on your plush velvet couch, another serene figure emerges from the warm shadows of the divine circle. This is Hestia, the goddess of the home, the hearth, and the quiet, unbroken peace that anchors every soul. Her throne is not made of polished gold, gleaming bronze, or sparkling jewels, but of simple, smooth river stone, warmed from within by an eternal gentle heat. Hestia wears a robe of soft, unbleached wool in the shade of quiet starlight, draping gracefully over her shoulders. A delicate, pale veil rests over her head, casting a soft shadow across her peaceful, radiant face. In ancient Greece, Hestia was the first and last deity honoured at every gathering. Long before grand temples were built on rocky cliffs, Hestia lived in the centre of every home, in the glowing coals of the family hearth. She is the sacred flame that keeps away the cold, the quiet sanctuary where tired travellers return after long, exhausting journeys. While other gods ruled the vast skies, the roaring oceans, and the deep earth, Hestia ruled the sacred space of safety, quiet belonging, and gentle stillness. Listen to the subtle sound surrounding her stone throne. It is the rhythmic, crackling whisper of aging cedar logs burning slowly in a stone fireplace. A soft, continuous crackle and hum fills the air, echoing the calm, steady pace of your own breathing. The air carries the rich, nostalgic scent of sweet burning pine, dried lavender, warm honey, and soft wool dried in the afternoon sun. Hestia holds a long, slender rod of polished olive wood. With slow, deliberate grace, she reaches out toward the glowing embers in the central hearth, gently shifting a piece of soft cedar. A tiny cluster of gold and amber sparks floats lazily upward through the open roof, drifting into the vast, dark sky like golden fireflies climbing toward the quiet stars. She slowly turns her soft, kind eyes toward you. Her gaze holds no demands, no expectations, and no rush. In her presence, all the busy noise of the waking world simply dissolves. She offers you the ultimate gift of the hearth, absolute safety, absolute rest, and a quiet haven where your mind can finally put down its heavy burdens. She rests her hand gently over her heart, offering you a silent, maternal blessing of peace. As her gentle warmth sweeps over you, your eyelids feel impossibly heavy. Your breathing becomes long, slow, and completely effortless. Beyond the warm circle of the hearth, stepping silently through the tall open archways of the palace, come two gentle, primordial spirits of the night sky, Hypnos, the embodiment of tranquil sleep, and his twin brother Thanatos, holding the peaceful darkness of the quiet night. Hypnos glides across the smooth marble floor with soundless floating steps. He wears a flowing cloak the deep colour of twilight, shifting from dark indigo to soft midnight blue. In his hand he carries a slender branch of wild poplar dripping with clear, sparkling dew gathered from the Lethe, the river of forgetfulness. To the ancient Greeks, Hypnos was not a terrifying force, but a merciful, beloved god who visited every living creature when the sun dipped below the horizon. With a gentle touch of his poppy branch, he dissolved the fatigue of the day, washing away painful memories, lingering worries, and heavy thoughts, leaving the human mind soft, clear, and serene. Hypnos moves closer to your resting place. The air around him becomes delightfully cool and crisp, carrying the soft scent of wild night poppies, damp moss, and cold mountain mist. He raises the poplar branch over your head. As he gently sways it through the quiet air, tiny, shimmering droplets of silver mist fall slowly over you. Each drop that touches your skin brings a soothing wave of physical relief. Your forehead relaxes completely. The muscles in your neck and shoulders loosen, melting into the soft velvet cushions beneath you. Your hands rest limp and heavy at your sides, and your legs feel completely weighed down by a comforting, pleasant heaviness. Beside Hypnos stands Pasithea, the goddess of rest, relaxation, and peaceful dreams. She gently spreads a sheer, weightless blanket of soft starlight over your body, keeping you warm, cozy, and completely protected. High above, through the open ceiling of the great hall, the vast cosmos turns in silent, perfect harmony. The stars glow like quiet, silver lanterns scattered across an endless sea of dark velvet. The 12 gods sit in a peaceful, permanent watch around the warm embers of the hearth, guarding your rest, shielding your sleep, and keeping all harm far away. Your mind drifts lazily on a calm, dark sea of absolute tranquility. Thoughts float by like distant clouds, fading slowly into the quiet shadows of the room. There is nothing left to hold on to, nothing left to solve, and nowhere else to be. You take one final, long, satisfying breath in, drawing in the sweet, warm air of the sacred mountain, and slowly let it go. The soft crackle of the hearth, the cool whisper of the night wind, and the gentle touch of sleep pull you deeper and deeper into a quiet, unbroken, and blissful dream. As the deep, velvety hush of midnight settles over Mount Olympus, the vast starry canopy above the great hall seems to descend just a little lower, bringing the quiet wonder of the cosmos right to your resting place. High above, the golden constellations, drawn into the night sky by the ancient gods themselves, begin a slow, imperceptible wheeling dance. The Great Bear turns silently around the pole star, its cosmic arc steady and unchanging as it has been for thousands of years. Nearby, Orion the Hunter rests his glittering belt of stars, casting a soft, shimmering pale blue radiance across the lofty marble pillars of the council hall. To the ancient Greeks, The night sky was not an empty void, but a living tapestry of stories, memory, and divine art. Every constellation was a hero rested, a creature honoured, or a promise kept by the gods. Looking up at this endless sea of quiet lights, you realise that humanity has stared at these exact same stars for generations, seeking the very same comfort, guidance, and peaceful quiet that surrounds you tonight. Listen to the subtle ambient sounds of the deep night high upon the sacred mountain. The cool night air carries the faint, distant song of a lonely nightingale singing from the sacred olive groves below the summit. Its notes are soft, crystalline, and rhythmic, blending seamlessly with the gentle, rhythmic crackle of Hestia's glowing hearth fire. The air here at the peak feels pure, light, and endlessly refreshing. It smells faintly of cool, night-blooming jasmine, crushed pine needles, and the crisp, clean scent of fresh mountain snow drifting down from the highest peaks above. Every long, slow breath you take fills your lungs with this pristine air, soothing your mind and gently clearing away any faint, lingering remnants of daily thought. Look toward the great archway leading out to the marble terrace. The silver light of the moon spills across the floor like liquid glass, illuminating the quiet, sleeping form of the sacred eagle resting near Zeus's throne. The majestic bird gently tucks its head further beneath its wing, completely at peace in the absolute security of the hall. Around you, the 12 divine thrones remain bathed in the warm, golden glow of the central hearth. The gods do not stir. Their presence is a permanent, unwavering shield of protection over your sleep. They hold the world in perfect balance. The oceans remain calm, the night sky remains clear, and the wild forests sleep under the watchful silver moon. You feel an extraordinary sense of weightlessness settling over your body. Your eyelids are heavy, comfortable, and completely relaxed. The warm velvet of the couch supports you perfectly, taking all tension away from your back, your shoulders, and your limbs. Your thoughts drift like soft silver feathers caught in a gentle night breeze, floating lazily higher and higher into the peaceful darkness of the cosmos, returning again to the absolute motionless quiet of Mount Olympus. Through the wide open archways of the palace, a soft warm breeze begins to move, a gentle, soothing breath of air known to the ancients as Zephyrus, the god of the west wind. Zephyrus brings with him the gentlest touch in all of nature. Unlike the harsh, cold winds of the north, the west wind travels over warm, sun-kissed islands and fragrant flowering valleys before ascending the slopes of Olympus. It glides across the marble plaza without a sound, making the heavy silk drapes of the hall sway in a hypnotic, barely visible rhythm. As the west wind passes over you, it carries the warm, rich perfume of distant apple orchards, sweet clover fields, and sun-baked terracotta. The sensation on your skin is soft and comforting, like the weightless touch of a warm silk scarf being pulled gently across your shoulders. In ancient myth, Zephyrus was the bringer of spring and the quiet helper of love and sleep. It was Zephyrus who gently carried Psyche across the sky to her safe, hidden palace of rest. And it was Zephyrus who fanned the brow of tired heroes as they rested after long journeys. His touch is pure tenderness, designed to melt away physical stiffness and lull the spirit into effortless tranquility. Listen to the gentle, rhythmic whisper of the wind as it moves through the high marble colonnades. Shh, shh. It sounds remarkably like the soft, slow rise and fall of a quiet tide, or the gentle, reassuring breathing of someone sleeping peacefully nearby. The sound matches the rhythm of your own heart. With every slow, deep breath you take in, your body sinks a little deeper into the plush velvet couch. With every slow exhale, you let go of another layer of awareness, drifting closer to the threshold of deep, dreamless sleep. The warm glow of the central hearth glimmers softly against the dark bronze shield of Athena, and the golden frame of Apollo's lyre. Everything in this sacred hall is still, silent, and wrapped in eternal peace. You are completely safe. You are held in the quiet, protective embrace of ancient history, protected by the quiet guardians of the cosmos, and cradled by the soft, endless night. Allow the gentle whisper of the west wind to wash over your mind. Let go of every last thought, every word and every image. Slide quietly, smoothly, and effortlessly down into the deep, sweet, and unbroken waters of peaceful rest.